Hi everyone, welcome to a new season of Chaya Chats. The theme for this season is Milestones, where our guests share the different milestones they've accomplished in their lives. For those of y'all who are listening to us while doing the virtual race, congratulations, y'all about halfway through, so hang in there. My name is Diana, and today we have two special guests, Nikki and Elizabeth. Hi guys.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
We're good. How about you?
Nice. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So Nikki and Elizabeth are currently in university, and today's topic is unfolding university. Can I just say before we continue how crazy it is that we're all in uni right now? It feels like yesterday where we were sitting in the same Sunday school class, and yeah, time just flew by so quickly. And oh my gosh, I just remembered that Elizabeth and I were from the same JC, and her class was right next to mine, so I saw her quite often, but now I don't see her anymore because she lives in a different country. Okay. Anyways, the verse reference for this topic is taken from James chapter 1 verse 5, which says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him." Maybe for the listeners, y'all can share about what course you're studying and which school.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki and I'm currently studying architecture and sustainable design at SUTD, or Singapore University of Tech and Design. I'm academically in my third year, but yeah, I'm currently in my second year.
Nice. What about you, Elizabeth?
Okay, so I'm studying law at the University of Nottingham right now. Yeah.
What year are you in?
I'll be going into first year because I actually did a foundation before I went into law.
Okay, wow.
Wait, so how long is your course?
It's going to be 3 years, but then if I include the foundation, it's 4 years.
Okay, wow. Law and architecture, a very useful and important course in today's world. So can you guys tell me more about why you chose this course? What motivated you to study this?
Okay, so I'll be honest. I was never a person that could do science or math. I was horrible at both of them. And then I really liked language and humanities. So to me, law just seemed like the most logical option. And honestly, I don't regret it because I'm really enjoying it so far.
That's so nice to hear. What about you, Nikki?
I think I realized that I really like designing spaces. I thought of not just aesthetically, but also functionality wise. And then it helped that my mom did interior design when I was younger. Ooh. So I had a little bit of I like that she's building me this little house for my school projects and stuff like that. And then when we came into grade 10, because our school we had to pick streams, right? For CBSE, I had to really cater down the kind of profession I wanted to go into. And that's when I realized that architecture sounds really fun. You can imagine it and then you can make it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How is it going so far? I sent Nikki a TikTok a few days ago. It was basically about architecture students having the worst time in uni. So how has it been going so far, Nikki?
I mean, content-wise, I'm really enjoying it because I would rather be doing this over anything else. But I will say the sleep schedule really, really gets to you.
God. Oh no.
It's so bad, but it's worth it at the end.
Yeah.
When you have your final project done, that's when you know all those sleepless nights were worth it.
What about you, Elizabeth? How's your studies going so far?
This sounds kind of bad, but after Singapore's education system, it's so chill. Comparatively, obviously there's still stuff that I have to do, a lot of reading, all that stuff is still there. But again, because I like it doesn't really seem like a chore to me. So yeah, it's pretty good so far.
That's so nice to hear.
Yeah, I feel a lot of my friends also who have gone outside of Singapore to study, they always talk about how lifestyle changes, the air is fresher, I'm glowing, and so it's
I mean also unrelated, but I don't sweat. The humidity.
I've actually heard that unironically a couple of times. I've had friends who moved to Europe and they're my skin cleared up. I'm wow.
Wow. Oh. I think this is a sign for me to move to Europe. I shouldn't be staying in Singapore, honestly. Okay. I want to talk about how the admission process was like for you two, because I know that both of you had completely different admission processes. For Nikki, I remember you telling me that your uni applications were right where COVID was at its peak. So how is it during such a time of uncertainty?
Yeah, so because COVID was at like its peak in 2020, and that's when we all had to like start sending out our applications. And of course, for me, the best case scenario was to stay in Singapore because going abroad wasn't really a choice I was like willing to explore yet.
Yeah.
So once we did send out applications, we realized that we weren't even sure if we were going to like have our boards, which is basically our A-levels equivalent, right?
Yeah.
And NUS and NT were like pretty like strict about, you know, having like a proper like exam to like validate what your marks would be. But SUTD, luckily I was like given the choice of writing like an entrance exam, which is like based on like whatever grades you give, and then you can write that and like along with an interview and stuff like that. So that helped, but also I think our entire batch really went through like this little like crisis in a way, like where am I going to study, what am I going to study, because you didn't have like that confirmation that hey, I'm going to get into the course I want to, right?
It's like very uncertain.
Really uncertain. So it was kind of hard, but also I think at that point my family was really supportive, and they were like willing to go to whatever lengths it would take for me to like, you know, give it my shot. And they really let me control all my applications myself, so I knew what like I was doing and how it would go. And I know there was like this one day when I was so unsure like if I was going to get in anywhere, because I had applied, like they hadn't gotten back, they just gave you like these really vague uncertain answers, right?
Oh no.
And we went for like a walk at MacRitchie or like Henderson Waves, like that entire bit. And I was like I woke up that day so uncertain, and I was like so restless, and I spoke to like Jesus for a bit on that walk, and I was like, hey, like just let me know it will be okay, and like just show me a sign that I know like things will be okay. And it was like a really clear day, and as we were walking along the bridge, like this like beautiful double rainbow showed up.
Oh my
and
God.
I was like, no way, like there's no way that just the timing was impeccable.
Two, not just one sign.
Yeah,
it was
two, like a double rainbow. And I think that day was sort of like defining for me, because I thought, you know, I asked God for a sign and he delivered so quickly, so I knew it would like, he would look after me no matter what the circumstances were.
Yeah, look at you now.
Right?
Thriving in uni. Okay, what about you, Elizabeth? How is the admission process like for you?
I mean, the admission process, because I went through an agency, so they did quite a bit of the process. I didn't really have to do a lot, except for like submit my documents and stuff. But I know like, I mean, I also had like a period of uncertainty because of my visa. And because that took a while to arrive. And actually, we ended up booking the tickets before I even got my visa, which is kind of risky to do because you're not really sure if you have a visa, if you're going to get it. But we still booked the tickets anyway. And yeah, I mean, I guess you could say God delivered again because my visa did come and I was able to go on the flight that I booked. And actually, I've wanted to study in the UK for a while, especially in like secondary school.
I remember you telling me.
I think Molody has always like decided that
I
want to leave. Like I'm willing to go.
No, but the thing is, like there was a period of time, especially in like upper sec, where I was like, am I actually gonna be able to go to the UK?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not the way that I imagined I would go to the UK, but I did end up going. So that's like, again, you know, it's something I never actually thought I would get, but I did get. So
that's so wonderful to hear, honestly.
Win-win.
Yeah.
So university is one of the biggest changes in our lives. I'm sure we can all agree. You know, we get that first taste of independence. We're away from home. We can do whatever we want. And it's also about making big decisions by yourself, which can be scary. So how is that transition from school to university? I know that like for you, Nikki, you moved to a dorm and you're transitioning from an international school to a local university. And even for you, Elizabeth, you moved to an entirely different country. I'm sure that must be very scary. So just walk me through, how was that transition like for you?
Okay, so for me, so when I booked my tickets, I only booked one ticket, like, so it was just me going. So I went there by myself and I had to like do everything by myself. And yeah, it really kind of forces you to grow up. I don't know if forces is the right word, but like you really have to do things on your own because especially when you're away from home, there isn't really like a lot of people you can rely on.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I was quite lucky because I did have a cousin there who helped me through a lot of it. But then I had to go set up my own bank account, do my own telephone stuff, my laundry.
Big girl things.
Big girl things.
That's what I was thinking.
Right, like really adulting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it personally because in a way it forces you to be responsible because, you know, when you're at home, your mom will do your laundry for you, your mom will cook for you. But then now that I have to do everything, I really have to manage my time well. And in a way that is good. So yeah, no complaints on my end.
I think the change wasn't as drastic as like Elizabeth has it, but definitely went from, oh, you know, my mom's there to like, yeah, mama wake me up in the morning. Mama will like help me if I don't have clothes. She'll like pull out something from like her magic cupboard or whatever. But once I shifted to dorms, especially because like our dorms is you get a roommate and then you have like a communal bathroom and stuff like that, right? You have to like learn to not be too picky. Like you just like you work with what you've got, you know. And I think like a big change for me was being able to like manage your own finances. Like you're given money and you're expected to like, hey, you're given this amount and use it to your best capability and wisely, of course. And like at first, because I hadn't really like done any of this before, I was like, oh my god, I have my own money, like I can buy stuff and I can like get whatever I'm thinking of. And then you realize like, hey, I still need to be able to like feed myself every day. And
you reach the end of the month and you're like, where has my money gone?
Where did it go? Like all I did was eat, but it's gone. Yeah, that was a big one. And definitely time management. Because I think when you're at home, and especially like during my boards and my A-levels, your parents are there to like reinforce that, hey, and they're like constant support saying, hey, like study, like don't forget that this is life-changing. But you don't realize in uni, like all of the sudden you're like thrown at something so different where everything is in your hands. Right? Like if you don't have teachers forcing you, you don't have parents like looking at you. It's really you want to do it, you do it kind of a thing,
like
right?
There's no one pushing you to be like, go study.
Right, exactly. And like the peer pressure of like some of your friends hanging out. And then you're like, wait, but I actually have like homework due.
I need to study.
Oh my god.
Exactly,
I think I really learned how to say no in uni. Because like, you want to hang out with people, but you know you have to be responsible. So you're like, you know what, guys, maybe next time, you know?
True. I think, but it took me like a little bit to learn that you have to stand your ground at times. Yeah, but I mean, I don't have any complaints. I definitely enjoy like this aspect of, you know, thing. I don't have like this overhanding whatever, but overall overbearing, that's the word. Overbearing.
Speaking of friends, university has become a social endeavor, and I'm sure like we've all been through different cliques and different groups, and sometimes it can be really difficult to be alone. Like I know Elizabeth, you stay in a accommodation and there's like other people living with you. Similarly with Nikki, you stay in a dorm and you have a roommate. There's just constantly people around you. So how do you find time to sit alone and talk to God, do your meditation? How's that been going for the two of you?
I think once I came into uni, I sort of transitioned into like becoming more of a night owl. So I had like, you know, I finished my homework, whatever, but I also have like that time to just sit alone. And I think I turned to journaling quite a bit because I didn't really, like, it was a new setting. I didn't know people entirely. And my mom wasn't like there for me to just go like, you know, brain dump and then tell her all about my day. So I would like turn to journaling quite a bit and like maybe set apart like a little bit of time, just like go read a verse. You know, like the Bible app. Like they do like daily verses and they're so convenient. So I will like sit and do that. But also sometimes it was definitely hard, and I won't say that I was able to do it or like strictly follow that every single day. But it's not easy to like really set apart time when you've got so many people around you like wanting to do stuff and a lot of impromptu like decisions. But I think going into uni has taught me, again, like how Elizabeth said, like really standing your ground, like following your own routine before anything else.
I think for me, I was always surrounded by people, so there was always something going on. But then at the end of the day, you have to go back to your own room, and then you're still like alone.
Mm-hmm.
So like, okay, I mean, okay, I'll address this in two parts. So like, first off, like being surrounded by people, and then after that, when you go back to your room, it's kind of like you don't really want to talk to God or do your quiet time because you're so exhausted by being around people that you just kind of want to like, I don't know, like
Do
mindlessly
nothing.
scroll TikTok
okay.
or like don't really want to do anything except for that. Because like again, scrolling TikTok is kind of mindless, but like when you're talking to God, you have to be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
hi God, you know, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think the lack of a support system was also kind of an issue.
Like, I
because-
really wonder how you guys do it. Like, now that you're like in a whole different country,
yeah.
everything's new. Like, what do
Yeah.
you rely on, really?
Again, like that's where God comes in. So like when you're in your room alone, sometimes you're like the feeling of loneliness is there. It's definitely there. So then you're like, hey God, it's me again. I'm back to brain dump on you with my lonely rants or whatever.
So I just want to come back to the Bible verse. I'm just going to say it again. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given to him. James chapter 1 verse 5. So did you have any period of time or a situation that made you rely on God for wisdom and help, especially in school? I know that you guys are like always surrounded with friends and many people. It can be, you know, difficult to, like what you guys said, stay on your ground, you know who you are, your identity. So how has God guided you in this journey?
I think when I went into uni, one of the first few things I was thrown at really was the variety of people who are really better than you at so many things.
God,
I can
yeah.
relate to that.
Like,
Right?
like when you're in school, because school is such a small community compared to
Right.
like university,
Yeah.
that you are forced to excel at things that you are like inclined towards, and you come into uni thinking, hey, I probably have got this, and then you're thrown at like people who are 10 steps ahead of you. And
Right.
also because in Singapore uni, because I came from an international school, I'm the youngest like age group in class.
Yeah.
So when I came into uni, I was 17, and I was studying with people who are like 20 to 23 to even
Yeah.
people who are like 25. And then you realize that, hey, these people have had like these many years more to like get better at stuff. And it also, like, I realized poly kids, a lot of them have a lot of hands-on skills that I definitely lacked, you know.
Yeah.
And it takes a good amount of effort to get over that feeling of, hey, I won't ever be good enough, but rather rely on those people to teach you and like give you the skills, because uni just felt like a learning process, like a really long learning process in
Yeah.
a way. And there were definitely times where I felt like I cannot do this, like
Right.
because like Moloti, I also had like a foundational first 2 terms, first 3 terms actually, where you don't really do like hardcore archi stuff, but rather you learn like math and physics and chemistry. And I was like, like I left this in school. Why is it back?
Like the feeling of inadequacy.
Right? Yeah. And you're like, the only thing that got me to that was, okay, I know that I've put my like mind to architecture, and I will trust God to like get me through this process, and I will know that if I get through it, it's meant for me in a way, right? And definitely like really do your best and leave the rest with God. Yeah, I had to rely on that quite a bit. It gets a little hard, but yeah.
I can definitely relate to that, because like throughout the whole process, I was just like, okay, like especially like exams, deadlines, all that stuff. It's like, I've done my best, now it's up to you. Because like this is literally all I can do. Like I can't give any more. I've given it my all. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess God really does come through, especially in times like this, because at the end of the day, we're both where we want to be in life. So
And I think my family was really supportive of this as well, because they saw me like really have little time and like put more effort into university, like
just like slaving away at uni.
because I'm like, I'm not used to this, like there's so much to do, and there's nobody like that to tell you to go and do this. So at times my parents would like, sit down with me and say, hey, are you doing okay? Are you sure you want to do this? Because if you don't, like, you have to let us know and we can help you through it and stuff.
Yeah, I love how your parents are so supportive of you. It's
I think
really
they've been great, like, throughout. They've never like pushed me to do what they wanted, and even throughout university, like when I've had like tough times and stuff, they would like sit down with me and say, hey, it's okay if you know that this is not your path. Because there's really no pressure, and like you don't want your family to be the ones pressurizing you either, right? So just knowing that everybody was like open to the idea and just like willing to listen to you was great.
I guess like this is where like the transition from school to uni is really obvious, because again, like the workflow, it's just not like school. So like having your family there to be supportive is a very big thing.
It's a huge blessing.
Because like when I was in the UK, my parents used to call me every day, like, did you eat? Are you okay?
That's so cute.
It was really sweet.
Doesn't matter. They're still looking after you.
It's so cute that they call you every day, because my parents are like, you don't call us like throughout the week. Well, I'm trying to tell them like, hey, I'm just busy. Like, but then I think we come back on the weekends and you spend time. But,
I think in university it's also pretty common for us to compare ourselves to others. Like, I remember when I also first started university, everyone was like older than me, and they were a lot like smarter, better than me, and I just felt like a tiny little baby, honestly.
Oh my god, yeah.
True.
But I realized that, and I think this is something that the three of us have learned so far, is that we shouldn't really compare ourselves. Everyone is on their own journey. People tell us, oh, you're so behind, but honestly, behind what? Behind who? It doesn't matter.
So
we're on our own journey, and I think that's very important for anyone to know. Even if you're not in uni. I think that definitely, like, that's a really good way of putting it, because you realize even after uni, everyone's gonna go on like a different journey, a different path, and comparing that with like when you're from completely different backgrounds, different circumstances, doesn't help. So you really have to take a moment to like step back and realize like, hey, I'm only gonna look at my progress and my journey, and I want to grow, but I'm not gonna compare that growth to anybody else's.
Exactly. And I think it's again like to do with times. Like, I mean, personally, I believe like everything has its own time, and again, like comparing yourself with anybody it doesn't help at all. Like, you're just going to end up putting all kinds of pressure, unnecessary pressure, on yourself.
Definitely. And I think when it comes to university, I think it's the first like step in definitely my life where I felt like this pressure on you to like perform and think of where you're gonna go with this. Because now that you've finished school, like you've picked a profession, you've picked this choice of, hey, I want to study this. But I think like I've also realized that there's really no pressure. Like, you're not pressured to like there's something you need to hit all the time. It's more of just really go with the flow at this point.
I agree with that.
Okay, to wrap up, do you guys have any advice that you would give for anyone joining university or who have just started?
I mean, I guess like I've heard a lot of people say uni is really the best time of your life, and so far, I'd agree with that. So like enjoy it, but like don't lose sight of what your main goal is. Like just try and balance work life, everything.
I mean, I'm really nobody to give advice because I'm still learning so much.
Honestly,
but I mean, as people going into uni or like starting to apply for uni, the biggest thing is like leave it in God's hands, and what's meant for you will come to you.
So
true. But never forget where you're from as well, because you get carried away a lot in uni.
Because you meet all sorts of different people. So like, don't lose sight of your values and
never compromise your values.
Thank you guys for sharing. It has been such a pleasure to talk to you guys and to hear you guys share about your university journey. And I hope that everyone listening right now enjoyed this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next episode.